The Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore limited editions dedicated to the world of Formula One are one of the most interesting chapters in the history of the offshore collection. The release of such offshores did not last long, from 2004 to 2012. Now the subject is closed. Offshores dedicated to Formula One have not been produced since 2013. And so this whole story takes on a clearly defined collector's aura. However, it's worth taking a closer look at FI Racing Offshores. What a theme to collect. And look at the names: Michael Schumacher, Rubens Barrichello, Juan Pablo Montoya, Jarno Trulli, and Sebastian Buemi. A fairy tale. Racing Offshores began in 2004 with a watch dedicated to Juan Pablo Montoya. The Montoya is both a first foray into the Royal Oak Offshore F1 genre and an example of his style. Royal Oak Offshore F1 or ROO F1 was not long in coming. In 2005, the first watch dedicated to Rubens Barrichello appeared. With the ROO Barrichello, Octavio Garcia brings the classic ROO case to the ROO F1 line, drawing all the attention to the dial. This tack continued when, after the avant-garde futuristic Grand Prix-style models, as we will see later, there are alternating models with the original ROO case design from 1993. Apart from the traditional 1993 case, the ROO Barrichello watch is most interesting for its dial. It is quite crowded. The colors of the Brazilian flag, which is Barrichello's home country, are reflected in the design of the small seconds dial. The 12-hour counter is decorated with the blue and red logo of the racer. But the most striking feature of the watch is the minute scale on a chapter ring with large 5-minute numerals replacing the hour markers. The following year, 2006, Audemars Piguet's collaboration with Rubens Barrichello continued. The brand's management and Octavio Garcia decided to return to the experimental futuristic design of the Rue Montoya and continue in this direction, complementing the offshores of the standard original design, which Audemars Piguet had not abandoned, with models in the high-tech futuristic racing style. Royal Oak Offshore Rubens Barrichello 2 was the name of the new watch, which had little in common with the first version of the ROO Barrichello. ROO Barrichello 2 was presented to the public on August 23, 2006, at the Turkish Grand Prix in Istanbul, where, incidentally, Barrichello finished unsuccessfully in 14th place. From a technical point of view, the biggest highlight of the Royal Oak Offshore Rubens Barrichello Sec was the introduction of zirconium ceramic, a material that is futuristic, high-tech, durable, and above all, scratch-resistant. In this watch, the bezel, chronograph buttons, and crown insert were made of ceramic, giving the watch an even more pronounced technical character. In 2008, the ROO F1 line was expanded with a third and unfortunately last version of the Royal Oak Offshore, dedicated to Rubens Barrichello. The ROO Barrichello 3 was presented to the public in May 2008 and again at the Turkish Grand Prix. This time, there was a good reason for the choice of venue. By taking part in the Istanbul race, Rubens Barrichello broke the record held since 1993 by Italian Formula One driver Riccardo Patrese, who competed in 256 races during his career from 1977 to 1993. The Turkish Grand Prix was Barrichello's 257th start, so the watch was produced in a limited edition of exactly 257 pieces. For this reason, it was sometimes called the Royal Oak Offshore 257. The Royal Oak Offshore 257 is essentially a revised version of the Rue Barrichello 2 in rose gold, while the crown, chronograph pusher, guards, and strap attachments of the Barrichello 2 watch are made of rose gold. They are made of titanium on the Barrichello 3. The story of offshore racing watches continued in 2008 when the brand introduced the Royal Oak Offshore Singapore Grand Prix chronograph, released in honor of the very first Formula One night race in Singapore. This is the first watch from the offshore racing series equipped with a movement based on the automatic manufacture caliber 3126. The Royal Oak Singapore Grand Prix is an excellent example of a special edition that achieves maximum results with minimal means. Minimal in the sense that the design is based on the original 1993 version of the Royal Oak Offshore, as was the case with the Barrichello the Point watch. The night racing theme was expressed through the aggressive red and black color scheme of the watch, with the forged carbon case ring, the outer ring of the dial with the tachymeter scale, the chronograph counters, and the perforated racing leather strap in black, and with the signature mega tapisserie dial, crown, pushers, strap lining, and double stitching in red. The year 2010, which traditionally began for the brand in January at the SIHH in Geneva, was marked by the launch of the new line of watches with futuristic racing design, which includes 3 new Royal Oak Offshore Grand Prix models. The Royal Oak Offshore Grand Prix has an extremely unusual bezel. Nothing like it was made by Audemars Piguet before or since. First, it consisted of an upper part made of carbon and a lower part made of ceramic. Second, the bezel featured lateral channels that looked like the ventilation ducts of a Formula car. This technical association may have later given rise to the idea for the acoustic ducts on the back of the Royal Oak Concept Supersonary repeater case, which ensure that sound vibrations are effectively diverted away from the watch case to the outside. The carbon/ceramic bezel is found on all 3 Grand Prix models, made of forged carbon limited edition of 1,750 pieces, rose gold limited edition of 650 pieces, and platinum limited edition of 75 pieces. The carbon fiber composite part, made with the precision forging technique developed by Audemars Piguet, gives the RO Grand Prix an appropriate high-tech character. To sum up the review of the Royal Oak Offshore Grand Prix, the richness of detail, ingenuity, and thoughtful finish of this watch stand out even from the diverse racing series of the ROO collection, and once again make us admire the talent of Octavio Garcia, the father of modern offshores and a true master of delicious details. The carbon fiber composite, extensively used in the Royal Oak Offshore Grand Prix watches, appeared again in 2010 in an offshore developed from the original design from 1993, the Royal Oak Offshore Jarno Trulli chronograph. Unveiled in October at the Japanese Grand Prix, it was the result of a collaboration between Audemars Piguet and Italian Formula One racing driver Jarno Trulli. This driver is clearly not one of the title winners. He became famous, if only for a resounding victory in the 2004 Monaco Grand Prix. Everything about the ROO Trulli was ostentatiously high-tech. A case ring made of carbon fiber composite, a case back, chronograph pushers, and a crown made of titanium, a bezel made of kermit. This material, which appeared for the first time in the ROO collection, was chosen as an alternative to the zirconia ceramic normally used in watches. Kermit is just as scratch-resistant as zirconia ceramic, maybe a little less, and it resembles a very dark and durable metal. The dark grey dial of the Royal Oak Offshore Jarno Trulli, with silver counters, features red accents, hour markers, hour, minute, and central seconds hands that distinguished the ROO Trulli from all other offshore racing watches at first glance. The culmination of the Formula One theme in the Royal Oak Offshore collection took place at the end of November 2010, when Philippe Merck, then CEO of Audemars Piguet, announced the start of a collaboration with the great Michael Schumacher at a press conference in Düsseldorf. The watch world received the news with great interest, but the Schumacher watches, or Schumi, as collectors usually call them, did not appear immediately. Only 2 years later, in October 2012, traditionally, the release consisted of 3 models: high-tech, here, titanium, 1,000 pieces, traditionalist, rose gold, 500 pieces, and luxury, platinum, 100 pieces. To honor a new brand ambassador, a special dial design was made for Rue Schumi. The 7 stars at the top of the tachymeter scale represent the driver's victories. 2 blue stars for 2 World Championship titles with Benetton, and 5 red stars for 5 titles with Ferrari. The hour and minute hands of a new faceted shape were developed for this edition. The red color of the chronograph hands was complemented by the red color of the date display numerals, which are on a black background. The collaboration with Michael Schumacher was supposed to continue, but the tragic accident of the great racer on the ski slope made it almost impossible. However, Audemars Piguet felt it necessary to continue the development of a special chronograph wristwatch, the complication of which was suggested by Michael Schumacher himself. This task was completed in 2015 with the release of the Royal Oak Concept Lap Timer, Michael Schumacher Flyback Chronograph Watch. However, this watch was released in the Royal Oak Concept Collection. Also in 2012, another ROO watch was unveiled, made in collaboration with a Formula One racing driver. We are talking about the Swiss Sebastian Buemi, who has been an ambassador for the brand since 2009, and the Royal Oak Offshore Sebastian Buemi, which was released in his honor. For the RO Buemi was made in original RO design, a polished titanium case, a ceramic bezel, and a calm dark grey dial with yellow markings on the second scale were chosen. Yellow was the main color in the coloring of Buemi's racing helmet. Sebastian Buemi's career in Formula One ended in 2012, and in the same year, Audemars Piguet was headed by François-Henri Benamias, who stopped producing racing Royal Oak Offshore watches. Thus, Royal Buemi was the last watch in this line. Apparently, Benamias simply allowed what was started under Philippe Merck, the former CEO, to be finished. In 2015, Octavio Garcia, the art director and designer of all the offshores described here, left Audemars Piguet. The limited edition racing offshores has finally and irrevocably become a classic collectible. If you find this video informative, entertaining, and give more knowledge about horlogerie, kindly hit the subscribe button and don't forget to like, comment, share, and turn on the notification bell to stay tuned to our channel for more exciting and informative